I'm going to show you how to do German short rows. So a German short row is used usually to heighten a section of a pattern. For example, the back of a cardigan or a jumper. So let's pretend, I've already started this row, but let's pretend I have two stitch markers here. That this, in between the stitch markers, is the back panel, and the sides are, for example, the front of a jacket. The right side of the jacket and the left side of the front jacket. And a pattern will usually tell you to knit to the stitch marker that marks the left sleeve and the back. And it will tell you to knit to the stitch marker, move it over to the right needle, knit another stitch, turn your knitting, and then with this thread at the front towards you, you slip the stitch over to the right needle, and then you twist this yarn around and tug. So you now have two strands on this stitch. You move the stitch marker again, and then you purl back towards the stitch marker that marks the back panel and the right sleeve. Pretend right sleeve. Again, we move the stitch marker, you knit one extra, turn the work, the thread pointing towards you at the front of the work, slip this back onto the right needle, twist the yarn around again, and you now have a double strand, move the stitch marker, knit back. I'm going to pretend that the pattern is telling me to do this twice, so in total 4 German short rows, 2 for this stitch marker and 2 for that one. So now we move the stitch marker again and we knit these two together. As you can see, we now have 2 strands where there was previously 1. This helps avoid any holes from forming. Knit them together, and then as this is the second round, we're now knitting another stitch past the German short row. If I was doing this a third time, I would knit to that one, and then the next one, and the next one, depending on how many rows you get. You always knit one more stitch after the short row. Turn it around, hold this at the front, slip the stitch, and twist the yarn over, and pull, and then purl back. Again, move the stitch marker, purl these 2 strands together as if they were one, purl one more as this is the second round, turn it, keep the yarn at the front towards you, slip the stitch, twist the yarn over so you have the 2 strands, knit a stitch, and then you knit back. And this is how it goes, back and forth, and you always have to remember to knit 1 extra stitch after the German short row for as many rounds as you're doing it. So move it, knit 1, knit these 2 together, and then I'm going to pretend that this is all I have to do. And then, but this is just how you keep going, back and forth, back and forth. And what will now have happened is this mid-section of the back, the pretend back, is now higher than on the front. So you can see. I hope that helped. Bye!